Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the video. Today I am talking about overall DFS strategy, the concepts that you need to finish a top tournament in tournament play. I was asked a question in my quarterback video where I was saying why I typically pay down for quarterbacks, although there are situations where I would pay up for quarterback. And somebody asked me, is there ever a situation where you would pay down at quarterback and not get a quarterback, a running back that has usage in the passing game? I was asked, should I play running backs who don't get usage in the passing game? And I would say most of the time, no. But are there scenarios where you can? Yes. There are scenarios for everything in DFS. So they say in poker, right? The good poker players look at their hand, and the great poker players try to predict what's in everybody else's hand. That is the essence of what you have to do to be a good DFS tournament player. And I'm saying tournament. Cash games are different. Cash games where 50% of the field is winning, you don't have to be as different. First place and 10th place in a 20-man tournament get the same. So if you're playing 50-50s, this doesn't apply to you. But in tournaments where you have to be different, then this applies to you. And I want to hammer this point into anybody who's new to the game, that a percentage of the decisions you make have to be based on what your opponent is going to do. So take a player, right? Take his outcomes. Let's say the outcomes are 0 to 10. And on average, Joe Schmo gets 5 fantasy points. And on a great night, he'll get you 10 fantasy points. That scale is weighted on matchups. Our guys injured, our guys taking a break, our coaches pulling them to rest, whatever. All that falls on a scale. So you have to weigh it out, right? For instance, matchups in football. I'm talking about football here, but take this and apply it to any sport. Daniel Jones, right? Not a great quarterback who hasn't been playing spectacular, now going up against the Dallas Cowboy defense, which is a great matchup. So when I say I'm playing Daniel Jones against the Dallas Cowboys, how do you weight the matchup? Are you going to say Daniel Jones is a bad quarterback and I don't want to play him? Or are you going to say, sure, Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback, but I think he has high upside to crush it in this matchup against Dallas? Right? Like, where do you weight the matchup? Do you think the matchup is very important? Well, you say, I would never play Daniel Jones in any other situation, but this matchup against Dallas is too good, I'm going to plug him in? Or are you going to say, I don't want to risk it with Daniel Jones, I don't like Daniel Jones, I'm going to go elsewhere? You have to make that decision. Now, I weight matchups fairly heavily. So if I think a majority of the field is going to say Daniel Jones is bad, I don't want any part of him, I'm going to go against that and plug him in, because I weight matchups heavier than the field is. In right, injuries. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, perfect example for this video here. Nick Chubb got about 40% of the snaps at running back. It's something in that range. Kareem Hunt was seen as the pass catching back. Now Nick Chubb is out, and Kareem Hunt, he's going to be the lead back role. He's going to have work out of the backfield catching balls. So how do you weight Nick Chubb not being there affecting Kareem Hunt? Now, if Nick Chubb was there and Kareem Hunt was at 6,500, I would be less likely to play him. But now that Nick Chubb is out, and it is presumed that Kareem Hunt is going to get a majority of the carries, I'm more likely to play him. Now, this comes in again. The Indianapolis Colts. That's a tough matchup for running backs. So are you going to say, I'm never going to play running backs against the Colts? Or are you going to say, you know what, the injury upside with Nick Chubb being out is worth the risk? And if a majority of the field is going to say, I'm never going to play running backs against Indianapolis, I'm plugging Kareem Hunt in. But you gotta weigh these things out. Because the way you see the scale and the way other people weigh the scale is how you get the edge. So if you think that Kareem Hunt is not going to do well against Indianapolis, and a majority of the people do think he's going to do well and plug him in, then maybe you avoid him and get your edge elsewhere. But being good at tournament play means you go through, you make your projections, and then compare it to what everybody else is doing. Because you don't want to be the same as everybody else. You're going to have to roll the dice here. I'm willing to play Kareem Hunt against the Colts if a majority of the field is saying that they are too scared to play Kareem Hunt against the field. If a majority of the people are like me, who says Kareem Hunt is a good football player, matchup doesn't matter, I'm plugging him in, then I might go elsewhere. But if his ownership is low, I'm going to plug him in. If his ownership is low because everybody's weighing out the matchup, I might roll the dice on him. Ownership and what everybody else is doing matters, right? So if the field is saying that you shouldn't play running backs against the Colts, that's when you play. Does that make sense? So that's just a brief video addressing the question, do you do this, do you do that? And you could say, yes, I'll Typically, I don't pay up for tight ends, but this week I'm playing Darren Waller because I like Derek Carr this week going against Kansas City, and Derek Carr is his biggest target, so I'm playing both. And I think I'm going to be outweighing the field on Darren Waller because nobody's paying up for tight ends right now. Which typically I agree, you shouldn't pay up for tight ends. But I like Derek Carr in this week, and the majority of his targets are going to Darren Waller. So why wouldn't I play both? Especially if the field's not going to be on Waller. So, main takeaway of this video. You have to know sometimes if your opponents are going one way, you got to go the opposite. And if sometimes that means not playing a running back who has massive usage in the passing game, but has massive usage when they're inside the 5. Sometimes that means not playing a wide receiver who has a lot of targets, but gets a majority of his targets in the red zone downfield. There's always scenarios where you can make a case for anything to me on any given week. I could say a majority of the time I do something, but are there moments where I'll go in a complete opposite direction? Sure. Are there moments where it's going to seem like I'm contradicting my advice on this YouTube channel? Sure. Because if the field is zigging, I'm going to zag. And I'm going to try to get my edge. This is going to be something tough to hear for a majority of new tournament players. You don't got to win them all. You're going to take these risks, and you're going to fail. But you could lose 15 weeks. But if you do great on week 16, and you shoot the first, and you take home a $100,000 prize, okay, so be it. If you're playing cash, then you gotta win a majority of games. But in tournaments, you only gotta win one throughout the football season to make it worth your time. And to win, to go to the top, you're gonna have to weigh out what the field is doing and make decisions based on that, not a set of arbitrary rules that you set for yourself. Thank you all for watching. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Be sure to rate this video if you like it. Give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down and tell me how I could do better. Thank you for all the love you've been showing me lately, all the comments on my videos, all the thumbs up, all the conversations in the subreddit. It's been awesome. I hope to build a community with more of you all. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.